Tism Sanja Dam Jagam Rida Jungu Jate Chavda, Gadin Tunda Manje Bapal Ujin Chiji Javi Shaki Timame Bala. Golungu Vachimbe Gune Cha, Tajin Chabdu Chu, Kiwane Tarakam Jadu Chadu Chinchi Labante Do Gama Jodang, Guru Pema Jung, Ludo Namye Shadu Yapta Dang, Rolona Menjume Chungo, Muju Tinjil Lame Tai Tung. Kunda Ninjurin Lamada, Shija Toyo, Yedamla, Nesum Kandu Chudum Chaka Chair, Ramjam Tatum Lala, Kuja Tel. Yenda Sanja Kunda Nyam Nayang, Kadin Sanja Kunda La Bebel, Tavela, Meshala Soande, Tazo Tuji to Ora Chinji Lo. So, this Bardo program is like extra because some of the students that they send me message saying that now understanding what is the suffering and what is the old age and what is sickness and what is death. Now, finally understanding, and they are actually long time student. When Holiness sent me here first time in 1991, they have gone through this window as Holiness also asked me to give these kind of Bardo teachings and so forth. So, according to that, we have gone through, but somehow at that time they are younger, so there are lots of the samsaric distraction. Besides that, they have to go through school and also to finish their study, and haven't discovered about what is this world samsara is. So that's why even though those teachings were, and several times those happen, but when something one could not experience, then everything take it kind of easy. So now what is about the kind of life and so forth, now experiencing oneself and then realizing. At the same time, I also thought since as Buddha said, where there is birth, then there is the death, and when we die, then what that could really help us is only that just the Dharma practice in a way. Out of the Dharma practice, mostly two important things, as we explained yesterday, the law of karma. So whatever that virtuous karma we have accumulated, then after that it will follow with us. And also whatever negative karmas, non-virtuous actions, whatever we have done, that even we don't want, don't wish to have that, but still it will follow, in the Bardo and in the next life. Like, kind of like our shadow. So at that time, oneself is completely dependent upon one's kind of karma. There is no any other freedom or choice of anything, and that what it is the nature of life. So what I'm saying is not necessarily I'm saying. It is what all the Buddha how Buddha taught in the sutra, and then how Guru Pamasambhava and so forth, taught in the Vajrayana, and also all the masters, kind of all the enlightened masters, including my master, kind of explained and taught me, and that is what I understand, and that I'm just sharing. So in this way, need to understand, because one may think, he's talking so many things, I don't believe, so then, kind of, that one may not pay attention, or one may not take it as, kind of serious. And besides that, of course, I cannot say anything that what it is not according to the Buddha's teaching, or not according to the, Vajrayana's teaching, or not something not according to the relative truth and relative reality, or not according to the absolute nature, or not which I have not received from my master, then I am creating my own karma. This is kind of very, very dangerous. Just if lead say something and that which does not mean according to the truth or according to the reality. So that is, just clarify. So, in a way, whether Sutrayana or Vajrayana, all the teachings from like 84,000 verses of the Sutrayana, and then the inner Tantra, that of the 6 categories of the Tantra, or even this Dzogchen, the Great Perfection, 6,400,000 verses. All this teaching just explains that whatsoever we are experiencing and going through in one's life is all the production of one's own mind. So this is, in a way, coming to certain kind of conclusion that how we have to know, there is no anything, there is no anything other than one's mind. So it is all mind's, kind of projection, and mind's, kind of creation, and whatever we are experiencing, it is one's own mind, whatever it is, habituated in the past lifetime, and that which we carry through, in a kind of like a cycle. As in the, kind of greater teaching that saying, Simyi Chubu Kunji Sabentes, Kanle Korda Nyangen Dadwa. So means this our mind is only the cause and condition, that which even create what is called samsara and nirvana. So samsara is we are experiencing this, we all are in samsara. Now the nirvana or the liberation or enlightenment is that kind of like absolute nature is also within ourselves. So that is why our mind have both the potentials, that one could wander into samsara, or one could kind of attain liberation or enlightenment. So most of the time, all these sentient beings, besides all the human beings, the samsaric mind and samsaric potential is very powerful and very habituated from long time, from many eons lifetime till now. And the nirvana or the liberation or enlightenment, that part which is according to the inner tantra or the Atyoga teachings, that all the qualities, kind of characteristics, and it's the just wisdom and so forth, everything is, spontaneously accomplished in our, kind of true nature of mind. It is already there, including this 100 deities. Many of you have heard already as you entered into Vajrayana, 100 deities, like 42 peaceful, kind of deities in our, heart, and then the 58 wrathful deities in our crown chakra. Those are what this, from the Tantra, how it is taught. And that is also, truth, based on the absolute nature, based on our, absolute nature. It is also true. It is not like some sort of imagination or some, kind of like that, like a fairy tale story or some kind of like a Buddhist fiction or something that which is not related with the, absolute nature. So this is one thing in relation with this Bardo also. We important we to just have to know. So with that, then on the other hand, from the like Shravakayana and Mahayana, and then the Vajrayana, within this kind of whole complete teachings of the Buddha, as we have gone through a little bit yesterday, the most unique teaching is that since it is the mind, so that to have the right intention or the right motivation, that which is also very, very important. Not just only in the spiritual Dharma practice, including in our day-to-day lifetime. And if we have the positive intention, the right motivation, then whatever we say or do, it will be, kind of virtuous karma. And if our intention or motivation is negative, then whatever externally appear like looks like the physically act also kind of very humble and respectful, looks peaceful, kind of nice, or verbally saying good, not necessarily that become virtuous because of the kind of intention. So that is why just especially in the kind of Vajrayana and the Mahayana Sutra, that always all the instruction teachings and all the masters, that they always emphasize on emphasize on what? Do you know? All the master teaching, that what they really emphasize on, every time what you hear, when so many of our kind of like holiness and Rinpoches and Gurus and Khenpos and Lamas, and you have attended so many of those teachings, and most of the time that what they are commonly expressing, do you know? Huh? Bodhicitta. Huh? Is that true? Bodhicitta? Loving kindness? Then? Huh? Tame your mind? Did you tame? Yeah, it's that of course to tame mind, but talking about intention. Intention is true, kind of loving kindness also, but it is part of bodhicitta. So the intention is bodhicitta. So I don't think I have to explain very detailed in bodhicitta, because it seems like you all have some understanding and knowledge, and also you know. But I'm not sure how much bodhicitta is been kind of like generated in your being. So what we all are in a way lacking is the generating bodhicitta. So that even Ajahn Shant, they were saying, Kangla Simji Tambarin Jinde, Keba Teukula Chandalo, Kangla Nova Chajan Tendowa, Teven Junetela Japsuchi. So that saying, Kangla Simji Tambarin J, that the person in whose kind of mind stream or in whose being have arisen this kind of like a most precious and most important and most kind of valuable within the spiritual, even in our relative life, and also to attain enlightenment, that which is kind of the supreme nature of the mind is that kind of bodhicitta. So that if someone who have experienced and gained and actualized that bodhicitta, then even Shantadeva and so forth, all of that they want to kind of pay homage, and they want to do kind of respect and wish to do kind of prostration, and like that, just the essence of the whole Buddha's teaching is also condensed in kind of bodhicitta. According to that, there are so many phrases. For example, like even this 4 lines of, I think in our text also have 4 lines of this bodhicitta, the Chanju Simjo Rinpoche Majapana Kejuchik, that one. On that 4 line, Acharya Shantadeva has wrote the whole complete Bodhicharya Avtara, the Bodhisattva way of life, that which has kind of 10 chapters. And so forth, that Pabdu Rinpoche also say that if you have it, then you have the the whole complete essence of the teaching to attain enlightenment. If you don't have it, then you are just completely missing that the whole complete path and the practice of the kind of like the Buddha's teaching, and that what says precious bodhicitta. So that's why it is important we have try to kind of train our mind, or just that to benefit and to help all the perennially sentient beings, that to liberate from this suffering of samsara and cause of samsara, and wish to lead them to kind of the ultimate happiness, the just Buddhahood, the enlightenment. And for that reason, right now one doesn't have enough kind of like a capability and quality and so forth. So that is why I want to kind of like listen to these Bardo teachings, and then we'll just engage into these practices to kind of attain enlightenment, to benefit all sentient beings. So that way it is good to give rise to this bodhicitta. Yeah, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds think about bodhicitta. Yeah, this is anyway, like you need to know this very, very important, bodhicitta. If you have bodhicitta, then everything in this lifetime, in next lifetime, all the way until one attain enlightenment, you are on the path. So that's why in our day-to-day lifetime, anytime, kind of oneself involved into this samsaric mind, any kind of afflict emotion, immediately remember, I'm falling into negative side. I don't want to wander into samsara anymore. I don't want to create any negative karma. And because this is the cause of all sorts of suffering and unhappiness and kind of problem, that way immediately remember and transform into bodhicitta. This is the part of practice in our daily life. So then Sutra and Tantra all combined together within this kind of like Bardo teaching. And that what basically I thought this 6 kinds of Bardo, that which is taught by Guru Padmasambhava. And these is 6 Bardos, that intermediate stage is talking about this reality, not talking about anything else. So the Bardo in one meaning is wandering, just wandering aimlessly and without any specific fruition, without any kind of result, and without any achieving anything kind of better, just wander here and kind of here and there. And that what it is, the actual kind of like a Bardo, according to this Bardo, 6 Bardo, 6 the intermediate stage. Then if these, for example, like the first Rangshi Kenneke Bardo means this our life, the relative, the existence of this life. This is also a one Bardo. And then the second is something thinking Bardo, kind of the meditation in our this relative life, and then we follow all this teaching and then receive instructions on meditation, and then we do kind of those meditation practice, that which is also kind of Bardo. Then what's it, Milam ki Bardo. Milam also related with this our life, dream. While we dream, then we could have all sorts of all sorts of dream. So that is also kind of the Bardo. So those are Bardo within our this relative existence of life, that which is considered as a Bardo or the intermediate stage. Then after that, kind of after from this life, as we process to dying, and when the external kind of breathing air just stop, and the internal breathing consciousness has not left, at that time, then Rangshin Chunyi ki Bardo, the intermediate stage of the like a natural state, that which is called clear light, as many of you have received some of this Vajrayana teaching, that clear light, and that which is sometimes you hear like the mother clear light and then the child clear light. So that mother clear light, that happens, and that is one opportunity where we could recognize and then attain liberation. Then after that, before we just kind of really get into this experience, then we go through the process of dying. So this is called Chiga Tungye ki Bardo. So oneself maybe have any specific disease, and just because of that disease causing one's death, according to that there goes through the elements, 5 elements kind of dissolution, and at that time there are all sorts of experiences that one could have while oneself is in dying. So that is the the also Bardo of kind of like a dying, and then kind of 4 or 5. The 6th is the then Siva Legi Bardo. So that is the actual Bardo after we go through process of dying, and then kind of externally death, when the doctors they look into computer and the process of this breathing, and this goes then finish. Then the doctors say, oh, now just this person is dead. But in many ways the internal consciousness has not left. So there are some opportunity, as what I said before, this is Chinyu Parto, that which possible, and those, especially those who have that practice, of these like any kind of meditation, shamatha meditation, vipassana meditations are very useful at that time. And moreover, any kind of like the Vajrayana practice, like Triru Dedi, if one have one's own personal Dedi, like yesterday we talked about Avalokiteshvara, then if one have that Avalokiteshvara as one's meditational Dedi, personal Dedi, then one immediately think about it and then engage into practice. Or just like a Vajrasattva or any other Guru Brahmasambhava, whatever deities one have, and if one have been doing practice, then it is at that time. Or like including like a Ati Yoga meditation, what is called Kada Tekche and Rindu Tegel, this kind of Tekche, resting in the absolute nature of mind. Those one have, then that where they immediately just kind of rest there. That is what more or less called in Tibetan Tukdam. The practitioners, they sit into that meditation, and some they stay there 3 days, some 1 week, or some maybe more than that. So then after that, when one could not just liberate through this clear light, then it started having the 100 deities, or those peaceful deities, wrathful deities. And also it is a individual kind of being. Some would also immediately maybe kind of like appear these wrathful deities. But in a kind of more what's a proper way, one could have this kind of peaceful deity, all those appear in front of oneself. So when we are alive, we do visualization and then concentrate and then try to do that practice. But in that part, one can just see. So and those are the opportunities, like the Buddha Bharotana or Rana Sambhava or Amitabha or Akshobhya and the Vajrasattva, all these kind of deities almost like appear one after another. If one have that practice, one can be recognized. And the thing is, here within the Bardo, the most important thing that one need to remember or know is that this peaceful deity or wrathful deity, whatsoever it is appearing there, is not coming from outside. It is all, as I mentioned before, peaceful deity and wrathful deities are within our kind of this being. And that which is somehow, when you separate from this body, then these Buddhas kind of like a projected outside, that possible to one can kind of see. These all the peaceful deities appear, one could not recognize. Then all those instantly transform into wrathful deities. Looks like you have seen many of the tangas and statues, wrathful appearances. So those are not anything else, is other than one's own mind, kind of projection. What is that? Deities are within ourselves, and that is also coming to that innermost conclusion is our mind itself, that which has the absolute nature of emptiness, and it is always union with the clear light or the pure awareness. And that could be, kind of manifest all these deities So that which is coming to the crucial point is not other than one's absolute nature of mind. That is why how it kind of like appears. And so if one could not recognize those peaceful, restful deity, then one really go to the what is called the sixth, this Siva Legi Bardo, which means the intermediate stage of becoming, wandering into the spirit realm. So at that time, then one doesn't have physical form. It is just only the mental body. Mental body is like how you experience your dream. In the dream, you experience your body and your friends and places and so forth. But in reality, your body is lying there. But it is almost like your imagination. Exactly like that, one feel in the Bardo of becoming. And that is where, kind of, after that, where they are going, looking for, where it can born. So that what it is, kind of like what is called that 1 week or 2 weeks or 49 days, that consciousness wander into there. So from there, then whatever just karma one have accumulated, just exactly according to that, one's consciousness will wander into that to reborn wherever one's karma leads. So now all about this, what is the actual preparation or what is the most important point is this Bardo, this Rangshi Kenneke Bardo, this when we are alive. And all these are called intermediate stage. Then one may think, then which is that which is not Bardo? So something which is not Bardo is absolute truth, absolute reality. So these are all explained in the Ati Yoga, in the Dzogchen Great Perfection. What is called kind of the primordial pure nature. In that primordial pure nature, everything is enlightened as kind of the deity nature, and that sometimes some of these Guya Garbha Tantra, magical net, we are talking about our 5 aggregates are the 5 Buddhas, kind of then 5 elements are 5 Dakinis, and our 8 senses are the 8 Bodhisattvas, sense objects are the female Bodhisattvas, and then our limbs are the 4 gatekeepers, all those, you hear that. That the deity nature, it is the absolute reality, absolute truth, absolute nature. So in that everything is just pure and perfect and accomplished just as it is. Just as it is. So now we are not abiding there, we are not experiencing that, we are not realizing that, and we are just kind of like in a way just wandering here. That is why this all is called kind of like Bardo, intermediate stage. So this is the the primordial pure deity field. That only clearly and directly explained in the kind of inner tantra, especially in the Ati Yoga. So that is what is the the Vajrayana is, the Tantrayana, what you see kind of tantra, and sometimes the people get confused. Even Hinduism also have what is called tantra, and that is why there are people confused and they think, oh, this Buddhist tantra is also same like kind of Hindu tantra. No, it is not. It is completely different. These things one have to really learn. Otherwise, kind of people say, oh, these two are same, because there are certain kind of similarities in those, kind of like a explanation. But the reality is completely different. So, so now the sixth Bardo is, I hope that you understood why this our life and so forth is kind of called, kind of Bardo. So what we need to achieve is this our, what is called primordial pure nature. Primordial pure nature. That what it is called the absolute truth and the absolute reality. That what we need to, kind of achieve. But to achieve that, we have all this process of the 9 yanas, levels of that which he explains about, kind of like view, meditation, discipline, and then the fruition. All these 9 yanas, slightly different view from 9 different views, and so forth. But as one enters into this, higher level, then directly explain about the, kind of Adiyoga view. So now I will read this, this 6 Bardos, root verses, where actually it's saying Gyawashitul Hala Chatelo. So one pay homage to the, like 100 deities mandala that they even, Guru Pama Sambhava. Then saying Bardo number 2 Gita, the 6 Bardos root verses. So then, first we have this relative existence of this Bardo. So other very, kind of like a curious, that which can be possible, very curious, and why we have to be in this Bardo. And from where we came to this Bardo, and how long we are going to, experience in this Bardo, or how we can get out of this Bardo and to just actualize our own primordial pure nature. So these are, that explain only in the inner tantra, more, kind of detail, and rest of all the, kind of like Shravakyas, Pratyabhutayana, Mahayana, outer tantra, Kriya Upayoga tantra, these all explain some kind of a kind of hint, and explains a kind of like path to get just there. So that way, the other important thing, what I also feel and think, just now we are here alive, and then we all know as just the nature of life, nature of samsara, and one day we are going to die, and one day you will also hear, oh, no, Khenpo Guru passed away. So that is definite, So, again, as we die, then this consciousness again reborn, wherever. If possible, be Amita Pure Land, or, or liberated. Other than that, it goes into this cycle. So that every single sentient being going through this process. So, how long we want to just kind of wander in that way? If we really think about it, then we feel that this is the kind of very, very precious opportunity, that we don't have to recycle ourselves into the samsara anymore, that we have the complete opportunity, chance, and freedom. We have freedom right now. After that, no more freedom, no more choice. Nothing can do. Just exactly one have to follow according to according to one's karma. So here we have the freedom and choice and everything, whether we want to wander or whether we want to liberate or whether even we want to attain enlightenment. It's our choice, and that is not depending upon anything else, one's own, kind of self. And for that one need this condition as this Buddha's teaching as path. And then the qualified master who can help kind of just day to day, all this guidance, and then kind of the including enter into bhajan, then empowerment, and then how to follow and how to practice, and all those. If one kind of seriously do, it is possible that one could be liberated in one lifetime, and that is according to the inner tantra. It is possible, It's a one way, kind of think, that may be very difficult. If one follow the path, it is not difficult. Difficult is our mind. From the very beginning, I don't think I can do that much practice. I don't think that I have enough time. I don't think this is kind of like take a long time. So oneself already humiliating oneself and losing courage. And then, just don't have like that kind of faith and trust and devotion. And when don't have that, then also don't have that courage. Then there is no perseverance. Then there is no diligently engaging into practice. Then how one can add liberation in one lifetime? But still, kind of part of that doing, at least accumulating, kind of merit and engage into virtuous activity, maybe again to make sure one can be born as a human, that one may continue the path. And that way it may take a long time, but if one could still every lifetime just doing better, also one day liberate, but it will take a long time. So however, that you have to know this kene pardo, that saying kema tala kene pardo chodu dir thela lome lelu pangchene. So now I am in this kene bardo of this existence, and life. Now we see, life is just kind of short. So what we need to do is just try to get rid of those laziness and distraction, wandering, and just falling into too much into samsaric, kind of like it, not to just kind of be fully, kind of like distracted in that way. And then what one need to do is thosum komsum mayin lamla ju, or just one kind of listen to all this dharma, kind of like over and over, and then also contemplate into these dharma teachings words, what it means, how to engage. And when you gain some certainty, for example like bodhicitta, how that is important. Bodhicitta is a union of what? Really? Is that true? Do you all support? Or you doubt? Maybe you have your own something. You all support him? Yeah. This bodhicitta is just only not hundreds and thousands things, Just the compassion and then the what? Wisdom. So compassion to exercise in our daily life always, hatred or anger, jealousy comes, no, just I have to be compassionate, One have to train oneself. And then the wisdom part is a little bit harder, because to know about the emptiness. Then have to know about emptiness is not mean that nothingness, but it is emptiness itself is the source of everything, source of samsara, source of nirvana. So that emptiness of nature of our mind is always inseparable with this clear light or this wisdom. That has to be always kind of there in union. So once one have that, then just have to continue to remind and continue to practice and continuously be aware about in our daily life, just daily life. And that way it is just becoming more and more clear to oneself, and then more and more easier to do practice. And then after a while one can experience what is the compassion and what is the wisdom. Then one can feel it. Once you just have some experiences, then you will get so much excited. Wow, this is so good, and physically, mentally, kind of with oneself, with one's life, with one's family, with this world, one see everything very positive, peaceful. And then that it seems like world is peaceful when one gain. Otherwise, look at our mind. Always this kind of disturbing emotion and this thought, that thought, angry, anger, kind of hatred and all sorts of how much it is kind of like disturbing. Then no possible that to peace, to experience peace or happiness or joy. It's always distracting. So that's why it's saying thasam komsum, kind of listen to teaching, contemplate, and when gain into certainty like bodhicitta, then meditate. And that day, without getting distracted, one just follow into that path. So, in that way, as one engage into practice, then this, whatever it is appearing, and the projection from like a bodhicitta, or projection from the deity aspect, deity, enlightened, kind of deity, the field of pure nature, and this field of pure nature, as mentioned earlier, it is within ourselves. It is always there. It's never left from oneself, no matter wherever 6 realms we are wander, but this pure nature is always there. That is why the projection of deity nature is also there. So that is why we need to educate into this kind of Buddha's teaching, including the deity field, the Vajrayana, and learn more and more and more. And then that was a nang sim lam lung kusum munjurchu. So then everything trained in that way, in one's daily life. Then this, you hear about 3 kayas, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, then what? Nirmanakaya. Those 3 kayas are never ever gone anywhere, never ever come from anywhere. All those 3 kayas are always with, kind of oneself, of one's, primordial pure nature. It is there. And that what, kind of like as you enter into this inner tantra and Ati Yoga, that how it explains that the 3, kind of kayas are there, and that 3 kayas are not separate from this our present mind. This present mind itself is not other than the 3 kaya. Just to recognize that. In one way it is, can be very simple, The empty nature of mind is the Dharmakaya, and the clarity aspect of the mind is the Sambhogakaya. And then all the, unceasing activities is the Nirmanakaya. And that is, look into one's mind, it is always there. But, somehow so got diluted and obscured with all this obscuration, and then we never just, experience. Because we never look into our mind what is emptiness. So here it is saying, kusum, one can just, actualize the 3 kaya. And if we don't do now, when we born as a human, having all those, in the Ngondo, 10 endowments, when we have that opportunity, if we don't do, then when we can just get that opportunity. So that's why milu linjik tobe for a once in a while it is possible we achieve this kind of human body, and especially that kind of precious human form. And that, as you have gone through Kimberley is teaching all those who want to, and also that going through study, so I have to contemplate what is called precious human form. So this precious form, once in a while one could achieve. So at that time, just one have all the conducive conditions that one should not waste it. So that's why one have this precious human form with all these conditions, where one have, entered into the, kind of path, learning about Dharma, including all this, Pacharana and so forth. Then, the greatest thing that one could, achieve in one's lifetime is, kind of dedicating one's life into this practice. Of course, we have this relative life, but can manage relative life, can manage in an easy way, and then try to balance with one's, kind of like practice. How much we work into this, relative life to achieve all this kind of wealth and, fame and, kind of rank and so forth. Just what is there at the end of the day? Everything have to just leave behind and cannot carry anything, and that is also the truth. That is also truth. Till now, all those who just pass away, they never took anything. We see they never took anything, including their body. Even their body also leave behind. So what else they can take? Only the good karma, bad karma, whatever one have done, that is, kind of following. It says like shadow. Shadow? Wherever we go, this shadow coming with one's body everywhere. Same like that karma will, kind of like follow. So that's why it is saying, just not to waste that very special opportunity. And it is not the time to relax, not doing this, kind of practice. So that is which is called Kene Bardo. So this Bardo is the most important. Then, kind of second Bardo, which say Kemantala Milam Bardo Chaduter, dreams. Even though these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all these deities have taught all sorts of, kind of possibility to engage into practice. So that is why even you are sleeping, also still, kind of you can do practices. What is called dream yoga, it's not a joke, Dream yoga is not a joke. People say, wow, dream yoga, that you can do dream yoga and kind of make fun of it. No, it is that there are complete instruction about how to engage into this dream yoga, how to engage into, kind of like a clear light nature. Even you are dreaming, even just kind of with Guru yoga, from the one to, kind of remember one's Guru in one's, kind of heart, kind of they are dissolved into oneself. And that one just, kind of maintain that while you are sleeping also accumulating merit and wisdom. So there are so many opportunities. So they're saying this Milam Bardo, the Bardo of Dream, Timu Ronye Pangme Panjane. So try to abandon that, kind of like the ignorance. Just we go into deep sleep, kind of like almost like a dead body, and don't know anything what is happening. So, kind of try to abandon that. And what one can do is that be mindful about try to abide in any of those practice. Guru yoga practice, Deity yoga practice, clear light practice, the Adya yoga practice of non-dual of the three kayas, those practice. And while going to sleep, one just kind of be mindful about it, and then just keep trying that practice, and then in the beginning still go to deep sleep, but as one keep practice mindful, and then slowly something will happen, and one can get better. So milam sunla tujur vese chang. So there is a kind of dream yoga practice where one go through in the dream, you recognize your dream, and then you just play with it. Because in dream, whatsoever it is happening is nothing real, but still there is appearance. Sometimes very, very vivid, clear appearances. So at that time one can also contemplate that, oh, no, I'm Guru Pamasambhava, or no, I'm kind of like Amitabha Buddha, no, I'm just going to Amitabha Pure Land, no, I'm going to this kind of any of those 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and that way one just kind of like engage into those kind of like practice, like a manifesting display, or once one recognize one's dream. Oh, Dundushin to Nyor Mejawas. Don't sleep like animals, kind of lying down and almost just gone into like a deep sleep. That's with so much of ignorance. So these are the instructions, and the nidang musum debe nyamle, sleeping at the same time maintaining such kind of like practice, that which is also kind of like a possible change. So that is called dream Bardo. Now the third is Kematala Samde Bardo Chadudir. Oh, alas, now I have this something, the meditation, dhyana, kind of like a Bardo, because these all are in a Bardo. Naming Tube Thonam Panjana. So in something Bardo, the Bardo of the meditation, where in a way kind of like a samadhi. In Sanskrit it says samadhi, a meditative state of mind. A meditative state of mind. So at that time, what one need to do is have a sense of concentration, single-pointed mind. And in that way, what one need to get rid of, whatever the obstacle is, getting distracted. All these 6 sense objects, and then with the kind of people and talks, and then this in the world, so many things are going on, and as long as one involved into this, one's mind is always getting distracted, and then thoughts arise, then emotions arise, then the afflictive emotions arise, then there is likes and dislikes, and then according to that one go through kind of like creating so many of those kind of karma. So they're saying that numbing, what's the numbing distraction, all those sorts of distraction should be kind of like abundant. Then what one need to concentrate is there one just yingmen dime kadel ngala juk, so means not getting distracted and not in the neutral state of mind, not distracted, not in neutral state of mind, and more or less kind of having that pure awareness of the present moment, kind of awareness. Plus that, with that practice, like first gain shamatha meditation, and that tranquility meditation, after that vipassana, the insight meditation, and then to achieve that enlightenment faster, or even in this lifetime, then one enter into Vajrayana of like kind of Mahayoga Tantra, and where there is the practice of the kind of generation stage of deity, and then the completion stage. So generation of the deity means the appearance of the deity. Like our Lokeshwara, yesterday we have gone through, how our Lokeshwara, kind of looks like, and then, kind of oneself, concentrate in that, and then at the same time, that the appearance of the our Lokeshwara, not like, just this our body, concrete, solid with bone, blood, flesh, nothing like that, like the, kind of rainbow body, and kind of this like that, and then that why it has to be like a rainbow body is because its nature is emptiness. So the emptiness part is called completion stage. So these have to be union, inseparable. Where there is appearance, there is emptiness. Where there is emptiness, it can be manifested in form of the deity appearance. And deity appearance is the primordial pure appearance. Deity appearance, Sambhogaya deity appearance, is the primordial pure appearance, which is called the Sambhogaya Buddha. That what one need to achieve then with this kind of practice. Then this within this generation stage, visualization of deity, and completion stage as the emptiness nature in union. One have to stabilize on that in a kind of like practice with the shamatha meditation, that single pointed mind meditation. Once we do, then it helps for all this Guru Yoga practice, dissolution of all the Ngwando, practices, and then, kind of the deity practice. For all this, shamatha meditation will help for everything. Even not that, even in our daily life, kind of this forgetfulness, just so many things, kind of forget, so many things, kind of like a distracted, all those will just come to kind of single pointedness. There are certain things that which is not necessarily important to remember. You can forget it, just kind of let it go. And there are certain things in relation with all these practices which is something important. It is important to remember and have to have mindfulness to develop that, and then this shamatha meditation practice. So so then try to reduce all these relative kind of activities, and then try to dedicate into these kind of practice. So in this samsaric life, it can be difficult, but slowly one can move towards this kind of path. And those who are those who have experienced, realize that what is samsara is essenceless, and it is suffering and no meaning, and how beings are wandering in that way, then they dedicate. That is why in the past all the great realized beings, they dedicate their life into those practice, such as like kind of Milarepa, that how he dedicated his life, and then now just one of the greatest kind of master, and kind of enlightened in that way. Even like kind of Longchenpa also doesn't care of his kind of wealth and food and kind of like shelter, and dedicate into practice. So one can do like that, of course, the greatest one, which is also possible to attain liberation in one lifetime. But at least, kind of just direct oneself towards this kind of like a, just practice. So, most important thing what one need to do as following the path is don't get distracted with this afflicted mind. How much we kind of just overruled by this hatred, kind of something that happened, then you just hate that person, and then you kind of so much hatred, and then anger, and then you want to just create all sorts of problem, and that way it's creating karma, doing nothing better. Or similar like kind of that day, jealousy and so forth. All these afflictive emotions are creating karma, and these are the one that which tortures oneself. The afflictive emotions are the one that which is torturing oneself. If your mind doesn't have this hatred, anger, jealousy, pride, ignorance, and envy, and so forth, if you don't have, just look into your mind. Mind is just peaceful and clear, and that is experiencing joy, happiness. And when this mind gets afflicted with these emotions, then you are disturbed. Then you rise to all these kind of negative thoughts. So that's why not to be distracted with these afflictive emotions. In one way, this is actually, if one try to work, it is possible to work with one's mind. When any kind of this negative emotion arises, then recognize, oh, this is negative emotion that causes suffering for oneself and other, and it is disturbing oneself and disturbing others' happiness. So immediately just recognize and then abandon. Then let it go. Then transform into compassion or loving kindness or equanimity or just caring for others, or just relax in that pure natural mind which is clear, in peace, not been affected by whatever that disturbances outside, or people just say if you don't pay attention it will not disturb, and you can have more peace of mind and kind of even healthy life. So now the three Bardo gone. So now the fourth one. Fourth one is Kemantala, Chiga Bardo, or the Bardo of Dying. Chiga Bardo Chordu Dil. Kula Chakshin, Kula Chadam, Dijin Panjane, and Tamasave Lamla Main Juk. So now this is also very, very important. When we are just somehow going to experience, now I'm just dying, then the first most important thing what one should do is try to let it go, all that attachment to family, attachment to the wealth, attachment to kind of whatever belongings, everything, because even you have attachment, you cannot have it, you cannot carry with you. So why just kind of being kind of stuck there? To just let it go. And that way all the practitioners, that when they are just dying, then they kind of do all the dedication, kind of practice on generous whatever that wealth and the things whatever they have over to the kind of temple and master, or shelters in anywhere. And that way one just kind of let it go, that kind of like attachment, and then not to kind of having that grasping, clinging. Even of course one may love one's family, children or parents or friends and so forth. It is okay to just have that love at that time, being kind and nice. And then when that certain time comes, then kind of like let them go, kind of peacefully. Just keep one's mind without not having any attachment for them. That in the sutra also, when someone asks to Buddha, what is the main practice we could do when we are dying? So Buddha said, the first thing, you try to let it go, that attachment of kind of anything. And second thing, you think, oh, this is what is called the impermanence as nature of life. It's not just only for me, for all beings who ever born is going to die. And then kind of like thirdly, try to just kind of relax your mind in your whatever practices one have, just concentrate and just be there. So that is what here also talking about it. Tamaseve lamla, mind you, whatever that instruction, practice, whatever one have received, whatever one have been doing, just kind of like completely concentrate one's mind into that kind of like practice. So when one just look into one's mind, the self-arising awareness, the prajna paramita, that self-arising awareness, and the self-arising awareness, prajna paramita, is always there as the nature of mind, always there. So only we have to just learn it, understand it, and then concentrate to kind of abide on that. And that way need to know that the empty nature of kind of mind, try to be there. So just realize, oh, this corporal body compounded phenomena, this is now coming to the time that to kind of discard it, and consciousness, and then this body coming to end, that no more just kind of like a own there, and one have to just kind of leave. It is same like that renting kind of like apartments, whatever that one have kind of duration of how many years, and then when that is exhausted, then one have to leave. Same like this body, how long, whatever just karma one have to live in this body, just live in that, take care of it, and just maintain, kind of positively, and be peaceful with one's body, and peaceful with one's family and relatives and all other beings. And then when oneself is dying, no need to regret anything. Nothing to regret. One feel like, oh, just I have done whatever I could do, anything that's good. As a father, I have done good for all the family and with people, with friends. And as a mother, in that same way, as a children, I done as a children my respect to parents and teachers and the colleagues and schools and everything I have done. So now I'm not to just kind of regret. I didn't do anything negative, kind of creating so many problems. So I don't have anything to regret. Can die naturally, peacefully. So, because anything that which is compounded of cause and condition, anything. So this whole complete existence of this universe, even these galaxies, stars, moons and suns and all these are compounded phenomena. It's still impermanent. Not necessarily it lasts forever, even though it looks like for a while, but nothing. So that way, this our body is also very fragile, very fragile, because it is composed of all these causes and conditions which are also very soft and fragile in that way. So one have to realize that, and that is the nature, and that is the truth. That is the relative, kind of existing. So there is nothing nobody can, kind of like a change. Nobody can stop dying in the world. And we don't have a single example that, somebody born long time and never died, kind of yet, just there. We don't have single example at all. Means just it is the nature that kind of like goes through that. So nothing to feel just worried about or frightened about or just kind of scared about anything kind of that, as long as one have done the right thing. All those happen when one have been very mean, very kind of negative, and creating kind of problem to many beings, and then it's difficult. So, so everything is impermanent. It is like just one must have to learn, one must have to know that is just a merely illusion. It's like a movie. And we all have a role to act as a movie in this kind of samsaric theater. Just every individual have that kind of like just a role. As a father, as a mother, as a children, as a doctor, as a philosopher, as a lama, as a kind of like a guru, or as kind of anything, singer, dancer, kind of. It's like this itself is a kind of movie, and just which does not have like a true nature, where is kind of like a once that show is finished, finish. Nothing more existing. So Mida Jumayamba Shava Chas, so that is the kind of like a dying. And at that time there are this elements kind of dissolution. There are also that how to realize, this now the earth element is dissolving, now water element is dissolving, Now the fire element is dissolving. Now the wind element is dissolving. Now the consciousness is going to dissolve into into space. One who is dying will experience all those dissolution. So at that time also one have to know this is like, kind of whatever one goes through experiences, one have to know, oh, this is all illusion. Nothing is happening, anything, kind of like a serious. Oh, that way you need to train. Then, now Chinyi Bardo, the Bardo of reality, Bardo of the truth, Bardo of clear light. Kematala Chinyi Bardo Chadudir. So after the, as earlier I mentioned, after that the breathing stops. And then there are like a, first stage, second stage, third stage, like that. However, that, the external, breathing stop, internally the consciousness has not left. Then at that time, kind of those who have practiced, then this experience, this clear light. So clear light means that is the absolute true nature of one's mind, what is called primordial pure nature. That whether you have practice or not, whether you are used to or not, whether you believe or not, in the text, in this my masters, they said even these kind of tiny insects, they also could kind of possible, but can be very short, almost like this. And those for the human beings maybe kind of little bit longer. And that is also not exactly same with everybody, because we see every individual, kind of minds and karmas and so forth, all different. According to that, one could have that, kind of appearance. And those who could recognize, liberate. And whatsoever it appears, kind of sometimes maybe feel like, frightened or, concerned and worried, kind of one don't have to just feel that at all. Then what one have to do is Kangshar Rangnang Rigbe Ngoshecha. Whatsoever it is appearing in that state is just your absolute pure nature's kind of reflection. It is happening, not anything happening outside, from outside. Nothing is happening outside in that way. But one have to know, oh, this is what is called the Bardo. This is what is called the manner of the Bardo as clear light. This is the absolute nature. Then, kind of once you somehow kind of recognize, it's simple thing. One practice have that and used to, recognize. For example, like you have your friend, then for a long time you didn't meet. And then in a crowd distance, you just see, kind of your friend. Then you just say, oh, maybe this is my friend. And you go just closer, then, kind of you see clear, this is my friend such and such. Recognize, all confusion is gone. Same like that, once you have recognition of the pure awareness, instantly attain that, kind of liberation. So one have to know that Bardo, Tenjen Galo to be judging. So this is, kind of a very important spot, very important turning, intersection. Even you are driving, kind of in the intersection, you may lose, instead of turning right, you turn left. It's okay. Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, kind of you drive and then, turn back again. No much problem. Maybe sometimes a little bit late. But, according to this, instead of recognizing, if one just kind of like miss it, then again miss for another whole life. And even don't know whether one could be, have that opportunity again. So that's why this is very important turning point, that where one could, kind of recognize. And whether that one could recognize or not is depend upon which Bardo. Whether one could recognize that the pure awareness or the clear light nature in that Chinyi Bardo, then Where it is depend on, out of the 6 Bardo, it is depend on which Bardo? This one, this Bardo. Whether you could recognize there, or not, if you have done enough practice this time, deity or clear light or whatever these kind of practices, you got some at least used to it, then there is kind of like even you have a glimpse of this practice, then at that time kind of instantly you could possible to recognize. So it is most important turning point at that time. Then if one could not recognize the clear light, then after that this peaceful deity, as I mentioned earlier, peaceful deity, 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and so and so, all those one by one. In reality, this project outside, but they are coming there to invite you in the Bardo to recognize all this deity. So one should not scared or frightened or worried about when that kind of deities appear. The one important point at that time, when for example like Buddha Bharatana with the kind of consort, in its kind of like appearances on the throne, and then with kind of very bright light comes, and that is almost like one could not even look at it, kind of very bright. But at the same time, this is samsaric mind, kind of, if we could not have control over and could not have, abandoned certain level, then there other side, there comes another light. If it is, kind of blue light, then another blue light, which is like a dim light, not very bright. Then one just, instantly get attracted to, this is very difficult, I cannot see, I cannot look, just better look this. And then one wandered into samsara. So that what it happens in the, kind of at that Bardo. Even our late Holiness also gave, kind of this 6 Bardos teaching, and he just also mentioned this, where to choose, where one should choose, even however this bright light is, but it is the deity, and that is your nature. And this, kind of dim light is the just kind of like a samsara. Then you will be fall into, kind of samsara. So not to miss that opportunity. That is why saying self-manifestation of these peaceful and restful deities, don't get scared about it. Just recognize it is your, kind of like a nature as deity. That is Chinyu Bardo. Then Kemantala Siva Bardo Churti did. Then now coming to the Bardo of becoming. Now after that you entered into the real Bardo. And for first 3 days, some of the first 3 days don't know whether oneself is dead or not. And that is why oneself, come back to the same, like normal way, just go to, kind of work and just, meet with friends and then, family and try to eat and so forth. And then that is the Bardo consciousness can see and hear and know. But the alive people cannot see because that is only a consciousness. So at that time, then in the Abhidhamma Kosh also said, that one's body is Ngundu Sive Shatuk Chen. Earlier, whatever sorts of form one have as a male or female or kind of at what stage, grown up or younger, whatever, that imitation, kind of is there in the Bardo. And then at the leg Dudushu do. So they also have some sort of clairvoyance in the Bardo, that Bardo consciousness. And so their karma, because of their karma in that Bardo, they also have some kind of miraculous performance, that the consciousness wants to kind of go somewhere, want to meet some kind of friend or anybody. The moment one think, one can be get there. So that says this consciousness can just go around the whole universe in almost like no time. That much, because it is like our thought. When we thought, kind of any other place, and then, consciousness can be, there. So that's also this Bardo body have that. That explained even in Abhidhamma Kosh, the Vasubandhu's text, talking about the whole system of this world and, karma, and then this, kind of like it. And then, of course, the real practice is explained in the, kind of like a Vajrayana. So at that time, what one need is the one have to have, kind of single-pointed intention, what one, kind of could be, like a whatever practice possible to one could remember, or at that time praying to, our Lokachara, or, kind of like remembering about one's, kind of like a deity, or like, Amitabha Buddha, or, one's, kind of root master, and whatever practice one have, kind of try to remember, try to recognize, try to be in that. So that which saying, so just constantly concentrate into, kind of like follow into one's, kind of positive karma, and that where one could remember all those, kind of like practices to remind. And then instead of, kind of like getting into the mother Om, so if possible, then one, kind of visualize the father and mother as, kind of male and female deities, and then that, kind of entering into the deity field. And otherwise, normal consciousness, kind of like have there some, based on the karma, some kind of like a thought that how it looks like, or there may be just place for, kind of safe, and that way enter into like, kind of mother womb. So at that time, one need to have this Tangnam, pure perception. So in this lifetime, if one have been engaging into pure perception to perceive everything, this, house as, kind of like our Lokeshora's, pure field, or Gurpa Sambhav's pure field, or any deity's pure field. And then inside all the, kind of like the male and female, kind of deities, as it is according to the primordial real, if one just, kind of like try to maintain one's mind to perceive in that way, then at that time also, whatever, in the Bardo one see, one try to, kind of have that pure perception, so that one could, kind of also possible to reborn in a Nirmanakaya, kind of like a Buddha fields and so. So Mixipan Lama Yavum Kong, so this is two ones, kind of like if oneself going to reborn as a human, and then one's mind get attracted to the, kind of like a father mother aspect, and whatever that, kind of appear, one instantly visualize or understand or have that pure perception, or this is, kind of male and female aspect of the, kind of like a deity. And that way, once, kind of enter one's consciousness with, seed syllable and so forth, as we do deity, kind of practices. And then that is the possibility one may reborn in a kind of like a Nirmanakaya Buddha field. So, that way, and at that time, just where one could, like turn into, just more positive side, which is also possible at this time if we have done, some these, kind of like practice in our day-to-day lifetime. Chuwa onye mebe loringbo teme sidi chawa tuptumne tari tonglo chandan dumatul. So that saying, somehow we not necessarily think that, oh, I'll not die, but it is almost like, everybody think that I'm definitely not going to die today, definitely for not going to die tomorrow. I think at least in 10 years I'm not going to die. I'm just young, maybe, until I'm 70, I'll be not going to die. Until I'm 80, not going. Even on the deathbed, Still people just hope, oh, this time, kind of like with the doctor, medication, kind of surgery, I should be recovered and I will not die at this time. So that way, just thinking almost like not dying and dying, just having that optimistic thought, it's okay, good. But at that time, oneself is diluting oneself. And that way, I can do my practice, kind of little bit later. Right now I'm busy. Then, kind of, that later, who can just, kind of like have that commitment that this latter part is truly existing? Or 2000, kind of like 30, just existing. Who can say? Never know, because that the impermanence, uncertain death, how it is happening, that we see, in our lifetime. We hear about it, and we, do experience like that. So that is why the impermanence, contemplating on the impermanence, even in the one to practice, how it is, seriously explained. And when we have that, then immediately one will just, kind of always try to engage into the practice in the sense, maintaining law of karma, and then be, kind of like not involved too much into negative side, and always transform into positive side, and that way oneself, kind of remind to do all the good things. So that way, thinking like, kind of not understanding that how death is uncertain with any condition. Even somebody's lifespan is not exhausted, but with the bad condition, accidentally got killed. So that way one need to remind oneself that doing the practice, following the law of karma, generating bodhicitta, compassion, loving kindness, and then chanting at least some of these, kind of deity mantras, and maintaining positive, kind of thought all the time. Even that much is also a very good practice, that where one can, kind of like make sure next lifetime one have a better life. So it is in one's hand, There is anybody to blame. It is all one's own karma. So this have to know, kind of like clearly. So the message Jordan, kind of like of course, as part of livelihood, we need to have this job and kind of like all this activity, but just don't fall into extreme. Only thinking this life and how much we just accumulate, but at the end there is no much real meaning. So this lifetime one never engage into this Dharma practice and so forth, then oneself is completely deluded oneself, where one have this kind of very precious opportunity, one could not take advantage of it, and then completely wasted, and then last minute one regret. Oh, I should have done my practice. I should have done this and that. I should not have done this and that. I did not. And then, kind of last minute, so many, kind of like regrets will come. So, if oneself is smart and clever and wise, if you are smart, clever and wise, then, every moment you have to just kind of follow the right path, right motivation. So you don't have to regret at that moment. That what it is, the smart people and wise people and clever people do that. And those who don't have that, kind of wise and so forth, then last minute regret so much. Then too late. Even just kind of do all those pujas for the diseased one, kind of, it is hardly get how much that benefit out of it. So that is why just not to waste all this opportunity. So what we need in our day-to-day lifetime is kind of like the Dharma path, And this is the Dharma path is not just because of Buddhism, not because of Buddha taught, not because we are following, not because oneself following that. It's not because of that. Because that is what happening in this world, in this samsara, in this existence. Everything. Those even who don't believe in this, law of karma, those who don't believe kind of Buddhism, those who don't, kind of like any kind of like a religion, but just whatever the karma one have done, and according to that oneself is going to face the consequences, result. And that part, anybody can correct except oneself with these kind of like guidance. And the other good thing is, before one die, just it is good that if one do all this prayer practice to purify those karma, that the good quality that karma or the negativity has is that which can purify, anything that wishes purify. When it is purified, then you don't have to bear that karma in the next lifetime. So tata nido laje meje dam tinjilame shene dige sung or lamen tamasana majna rangi rangili or minju ram say. So they're saying, so from now, kind of at this present, and that the time what we have is past. It's just like a dream now, gone. Whatever we have been doing before this, before this time. It's all just imagination, nothing is real. And then after this moment, the next is, just haven't come yet, like tomorrow. Never existed. So real thing, what we can utilize and what we can do right and wrong, everything is this present moment of time, the present moment. And this present moment, we have to be aware. We have to be mindful. We have to be careful about not to create any more negative karma. And so that is why just live in peace, happiness, joyfully with loving kindness, with compassion, with patience, with forgiveness, with tolerance. Just be nice. Never know how long time one have to spend with one's family or friends and so forth. So why one have to be disturbed and unhappy for for a little bit short time? So every time correct one's mind how one can be just be kind and nice and practice kind of patience. When sometimes all those quarrels, fights, all those happen, okay, relax, kind of. And if it is possible, one can just correct somebody. If one can help to do something better, if there is something kind of one can work out, one just try. Try to be. And sometimes there are certain situations that at that moment, when got so disturbed, you cannot help. Very difficult. So when you cannot help at that time, just leave it as it is for the time being. And then slowly, if there is an opportunity comes to help, then one can kind of like try. In that way, kind of the present moment of the time is most important. Everything we do, everything we get is the present moment. So that is what in these kind of teachings, all the kind of like Buddha, Guru Pamasambhava and so forth, all the kind of masters, they rely upon these enlightened beings, and that teaching which if one could receive, and then one try to understand and then follow. Understanding is good, knowledge, but follow to practice. If don't practice, then one cannot transform. This afflicted mind cannot reduce, cannot transform into positive. So that is why practice become kind of like important. So if one could do kind of follow these kind of like a dharma path, and that person could be wise, and that person could be clever, and that person is smart. That is real smart, real clever, real wise, kind of the real being, one who knows the truth. That what it is, if one could do, then oneself, not deceiving to oneself. And those who don't have this kind of, like quality, and then deceiving oneself, and then at the end face all those suffering consequences, and last minute, then how much one regret, also cannot do anything. So that way one just learn about what is the kind of this Bardo and how important it is about engaging into Dharma practice. So I stop here. I don't know if you have any question. Yes. Yeah. That when this dissolution happen, then at that time all the five element dissolution, then after that kind of like consciousness kind of almost dissolved into the space, so which means empty for a moment, kind of like, and then from that the empty then dissolved to vessel, killer light. So there are this kind of like a stages, and at that time if one could recognize or maintain or kind of practice, it's possible to liberate. And in so many ways, maybe most of time when they don't have any practice, then they miss it. Yeah, space means just mind become empty as its nature. No, the space is empty, there is nothing to look, cannot find anything. Yeah. What's it? Can Guru give Shinto mantra? This one? Yeah, some in the online saying this 100 deities mantra. No, I forgot. What is that? What is that 100 deities mantra? Om what? Wow. Oh, that's good. So just you help me to remember. How many you all know that? It's good to learn, It is good to learn. There are, kind of like pieces, things which is very, very beneficial for, kind of several future lifetimes, Om Bodhicitta Mahasuga Jana Datu A Om Rulu Hung Jo Hung. Some that only that, some Om A Hung Bodhicitta Mahasuga Jana Datu A Om Rulu Hung Jo Hung. Also that is the also transmission. Okay. Then it looks like all are liberated and enlightened. So then we do dedication prayers.
Sanande Danje Zebanye Tone Nebedana Bandesh Chegana Je Walon Trubaye Sibi Solendo Doa Om Sotin Dene Seje Punjao Dorje San Lase Danze Sheroba Robe Gunje Shabden So Jaye Rinlo Sanjing Ajurvi Donga Shidro Jansu Kolon Jur Pano Yela Dunji Pungso Minji Senge Tila Shabden So Pome Tadin Chime Tsetaye Miji Shangshe Dawa Yesan Kunsan Chugu Ngo So Ye So Dagi Mugi Punson So Padang Sason Tendang Kunjo Tembi Jita Mambai Jen Drubai Tashi Paji Sason Nawar Sho Chingur Shaye Din Tashi Shin Nyan Tashi Babara Talala Tsayan Tashi Babara Chili Ninze Dadu Tashi Dele Sho Chewa Gundo Yanda Lama Dami Chuje Bala Long Chuje Sadan Lamje Yende Ranzo Doji Changi Gopan Yurdo Sho Kunsan Doji Chanji Menje Dinje Zaye Lama Yenje Doye Dendo Mela Kanta Ba Deda Tamje Dak Drubar Sho Jamba Bawe Jidra Jimba Dan Kundu Zombe Deda Gunji Jiso Dalo Gewa Dida Danj Rado Ngorin Chengezo Diyen Rowagen Tado Dambi Chedan Mendrash Rajen Denye Zoba Tajene Chunga Droben Jiden Zebar Shol Dashin Jibarasho, Sanjin Tamje, Deshin Jibarasho, Nindan Sendo, Chela Jibarasho, Ranjin Daniel, Drubarasho, Gandun Jibi, Jiwa Tanje, Do, Tori, and then Dunde, Tobarash. Chema Tadu, Chedan, Chijurji, Sujin, Drubi, Rawa, Yubarasho, Teyan Lama, Nindan Sendo, Chela, Jibarasho, Chedo, Nini, Nimbo, Dendro, De, Sende, Sibi, Janso, Gawarasho, Sipa, Dambi, Chera, Denji, Jin, Shimbe, Dula, Jongwa, Mebash, Lajin Shenden Chori Me Bayi Tamji Chanji Sanji Sho Benzara Sadhu Samaya Manu Balaya Benza Sadhu Tino Pa Tintan Jindo Me Bawa Sudo Kayo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anurado Membawa Sawa Siddhi Membrayat Sawa Gama Sudza Me Jitang Shriyam Kuro Ha 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 ho Bhagave Sawa Dadanga Benza Mame Benza Benzi Bhava Ma Samaya Sadhu Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Benza Guru Pema Siddhi